Okay, now I'm going to show you example of the traditional piggyback perm wrap. Always have your hair wet. And first of all, we're not going to use a paper. We're just going to start wrapping mid-shaft down. So I'm going to take my roller and wrap it like this and pull it off to the side. But this has to remain smooth. Keep firm tension. See how that wraps? And then I start rolling and bring this around. And you see as you roll, there's going to be a little divot under there of bringing that end out. Well, what's happening is you won't have a real super uniform curl when you do that. So I've rolled and wrapped this around without a paper. Now I have this end, and on a traditional piggyback, this end is a little wad of hair here. So this is why, and I'll show you another method that makes a more even curl. So when I go through here and do the end one, I do the long book wrap. I'm going to turn this and lock it in like a crokinole, but sometimes I have to go and spiral a little bit, or it will definitely be a wad in the hair. So watch again as I do that. The subsection is the size of your roller. Keep the hair really wet. Comb this smoothly. The scalp out. Get your roller, come about a halfway down or a third of the way down, and wrap this. Instead, I have one lock. So this end is over here, so I have to start rolling this roller, but I have to keep this tail winding around. I go ahead and place that band, and then now I have this tail, and see this one ended up a little further back, so sometimes it's hard to make this kind of curl even. So it's really thick, smooth it out as best possible. And then we're going to wind this in, lock it, do a complete turn, turn to half, and then you will have to probably spiral it if the hair is very thick. If the hair is thin, you could just do a straight crokinole. One more time, watch again. Wet the hair. Start in the middle, wrap it. And then continue down. Lock it in. Take this tail, do a long bookend. Get that in smoothly, lock it. After it's locked, then you kind of roll it down a little bit like a spiral. One last time. Subsection the size of the roller. Wet the hair. Loop this around. Bring it down. Keep it straight out from the head. Lock this in. Really this, yeah. Sometimes you have to see which way that tail needs to come out. And that roller seems a little loose until you get the next one in, but that's okay. We don't want these overly tight. Lock this in. Then if I need to, spiral it down a little bit. So this leaves it a little waddy on the last roller. So when I get to the next technique called a windmill, which is a different way to do a piggyback, you'll see how these rollers look nicer and more even. Now we're going to talk about a windmill, which is, I think, a better option to roll a piggyback. You're going to have more uniform curl, and we're going to roll it in reverse. The regular piggyback, we rolled at the scalp area first, then we rolled the end. Now we're going to roll the end first, then the scalp. So watch how this works. So I'm going to pull this up like a traditional roller, place my papers on it, and then I'm going to roll this down about, I'll put another paper because this mannequin, the hair wants to pop off. So roll down about a third of the way. And then I go ahead and place the band on the hair. So then what I'm going to do is take my next roller, and I have to come down about 1 inch. And when I come down about 1 inch, then I'm going to turn this way toward me. So if I'm right-handed, I'm holding it like this. If I'm left-handed, I'm going to go like this and turn it. So for right-handed, we're going to turn it counterclockwise. So come down 1 inch, turn it counterclockwise, then do a nose dive under. So you see how I have one loop around there. So now I'm going to roll this, and I flip this end around as I roll, and that's why we call it a windmill, because it looks like a windmill as we go. And once you get down here, then you just lock this in. And the good thing about it is you don't have that big long straight piece like you have on a regular piggyback. I'm going to take that off so that can be seen there. But on a client, we would keep that perm paper on there. Subsection is the same. Size of the roller. Two end papers, especially since we have mannequin hair. So I'm going to roll a third of the way down and close the rod. Then I'm going to get 1 inch down, and I'm going to go counterclockwise and nose dive down, and see how that starts flipping around. And I'm rolling this, but all I'm doing is leading the windmill around. And if you need to adjust the band, if I get down like this one was a little tight on the windmill, all I have to do is come in and just loosen that a little bit, and then it stays nicely. One more time. I'm going to do a little larger rod just so you can see the difference. So my regular end papers, double flat. Roll a third of the way down, lock it. Come down about 1 inch, tilt this down under, and start windmilling. This last one around, see how that's a little tight? I'll fix that in a minute. Go ahead and get this one locked in on the back side. And then if that's a little tight or it gets locked in the end of your rod, just unhook that. Let me do one more of the large one. Comb the hair smoothly. Double papers. If it's a little dry, re-dampen the hair. Ensure those ends are going in smoothly. Roll it down a third, lock it. Bring in another roller down 1 inch, counterclockwise. Bend it like that and roll it around. Flip it. The windmill. There you go. Windmill piggyback.